tonight. We're gonna see if anybody come through. I got just an hour. Gotta take care of some business tonight, but I thought I'd come through, keep my word, because I'm probably gonna. At the most, I'll probably be back Friday or Saturday. Well, I won't be Saturday. Saturday I'm going out, so maybe Friday. So tonight, probably Friday. Not gonna be on tomorrow night with it, but I'm gonna see if anybody come through tonight. Cause I did say I was coming through tonight and tomorrow. So let's see what's up. Let's see if anybody coming through. See anybody got something to say. Any commentary today. See how everything is going out there. A lot that happened last 24 hours. Justin Timberlake got that ticket. See if you got something to say. See if anybody gonna come through. I'm sure there's some Timberlake fans that got something to say. What's up? What's up? Got something to say about Justin Timberlake? What's up? Thanks for hitting that like. Any Timberlake. I got that news when I got off last night. I was going on and oh yeah, I couldn't wait. And I saw the mugshot. I was like, huh? Yeah, that one caught me off guard. I was like, whoa, okay, okay. Yeah, well, I've never been the biggest Timberlake fan, so what's happening? What's happening? Everybody coming through? I got your breaking news, Ted. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. But you know what's even funnier, Ted? That might be your next head coach. He might be your happy medium because he's a good scapegoat. And you know the NBA loves musical chairs. He's got a good, and if CP3 can, yeah, there you go. When I saw your breaking news, I laughed. I said, "This ain't breaking news." What should be, it should be breaking news that the Pistons don't pay their fans money because they gonna suck. But why would they fire him? Because nobody could coach that team to 500. But then I thought, okay, he could be headed to the Lakers. Doing good, doing good. How are you doing today? I know he was fired by the Pistons, and I thought of Ted immediately because I thought, he might get a job with the Lakers. He's mild mannered. Glad to hear you doing good, Rebecca. Thank you for coming through. He's mild mannered. He's likable. He's fireable. Go get him for a year or two. I thought, yeah, sure. Thanks, man. Hey, there's a lot of shuffling going on, and I couldn't help it. I was like, oh God, I had so many shufflers on deck. The Steve Harvey one was sitting there for a couple of days till I found the right time. But then these other people came along. I know they were. You would be too. The Pistons suck. I mean, and that's a bad gig. That's a bad gig. Yeah. What's happening? Glad to have you, DJ. Welcome aboard. Yeah, I know it's hot up there. I know. And the humidity is already in kick and full gear. What's happening? What's happening? Glad to have a crew in here tonight. Thank you. Glad to have everybody coming here. So that was must have been recent. Well, I guess the baby boy, the Archie being dark skillet black, but didn't enough to her say anything. I'll look into it. I don't really talk about her though, but I'll do the video. But I mean, the thing that goes on with that whole family is so dysfunctional. It's crazy, crazy. You can ask David Joseph what they need to do. He ain't talking up that much. They need to make trades. They stuck with people. Everybody wants Zach. I don't want no one wants DeRozan, but Zavine can get you something. Ball might get you. And Russo, Caruso's on the run, so I don't. Okay, so the Bulls got to make and need a real head coach. They pathetic to be selling below average when they should be a 500 team. You know, They one of them, what I call it, 34 and 48 teams and happy with it, or 36 and 46. Just backwards. Oh, I'd take that money. But the problem is they don't have anybody that stands out on the team, and they got a lot of hard heads who just don't play. They suck. You ain't no way nowhere you was no 30 games. You think I forgot about that mess in Detroit last year? They were embarrassing. He underrated in terms of a backup kind of dude, but he has to be in the right setting to appreciate him. Can't have him as a starter. Yeah, I'm sure the Lakers will want him though because he's good PR. I'll tell you where Caruso would be. He could be the white Drew Holiday. Now laugh if you will. Hear me out. Hear me out. Milwaukee. Call as Caruso. Dallas. Call Alice Caruso. See, the only time I'm gonna compare Alice Caruso with Drew Holiday, but hear me out. If you one of them teams that's on the cusp, I'm talking about teams on the cusp. Nah, we ain't on the cusp. I'm talking about a team that's on the cusp. I'm talking about where you could be. And maybe Quires has kept Denver off the bench. I'm talking about cusp teams and definitely Minnesota. I'm talking about cusp teams. I ain't talking about teams that are first round casualties, or I'm talking about a legit team. Denver, Minnesota, Dallas are legit for Caruso. Those are legit. And Milwaukee. Yeah, Milwaukee, Dallas, Denver. Yeah. Not teams, you know. Well, Drew's a bad boy, but he's a fit. He's one of those kind of guys he can fit because he's a stylist. But you got to have a team that's defensive minded. You got to have a team that allows you to kind of roam. It takes a certain type of chemistry and to make that work. He ain't gonna work for just anybody. So don't go thinking that the Drew Holiday sweepstakes we're gonna pay a crazy amount for him because he could go out to Phoenix and suck. You know he would have been dead in Portland. You do know. That's why they got him for bargain basement in Boston. That's why Milwaukee thought they were slick and sent him out there to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, you gotta drink a lot of water. That's very important. I don't think he was underrated. I think, yeah, that's typical. I don't think he's underrated. I think that he was great for New England. I wouldn't call him underrated because to say he's underrated means he'd have gone somewhere and been this all pro and been all that. I don't think he was that dude. I told you when they got Chad Brown, Chad Brown was better than him as a talent, but he didn't fit New England way. Sometimes guys play with certain styles and systems, they fit. It's like Draymond Green in Golden State. It couldn't work almost anywhere else. I don't think it works anywhere else. He ain't Dennis Rodman. Rodman made that work until Rodman got old and got in his ways with the Lakers and the wheels unraveled. But you got to have the right coach and the ego to get the best of a guy like that. Different styles. But Brewski fit great in New England. There are guys who fit. They're not necessarily Hall of Famers. That's not having no crazy debates. But for who they with, they look like an all pro. They look all stars. Yeah, I know how it gets hot in the East. All right, let's see what we got. I know it's gonna be hot summer. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because the way he played, he covered so much, just like Troy Brown. Covered a lot of area in New England. You know. You gotta have that's where coaching comes in. See, great coaches, that's why we'll give Belichick his due. They know when they got those guys that are team dudes. And they utilize them the right way. Like Phil Jackson with Derek Fisher. D Fish went anywhere else, he was riding the pine. But under Phil's system, he looked like borderline. That's a great video. Thanks. Now you gave me a good video tomorrow. Now that's a good video. Thank you, Ted. I'm gonna write that down. That's a great one. Hold up. I'm gonna answer that right now. That's hard to believe too. Let's see. Sosa McGuire. Okay, I will answer this the best way I know how. Yeah, it is. That was a great one. More impactful to saving this sport. I'm gonna say Magic and Bird. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's a great question. I will present it tomorrow. Ted be coming with some great questions too. Um, because of their impact from college, because they were black and white. And I know Sosa and McGuire, but it ain't quite the same. But and Chicago and St. Louis was close in the states, Midwest. So it's a little bit closer. LA, Boston, black or white, rich and poor, working class, suburbia, that disdain, that rivalry, that was more romanticized. Baseball was gonna come back, but they needed the home runs to bring the fans back to give them something to root for. But Magic and Bird brought the whole enchilada because they were the new. So that's why I give that the age. It's a great question, but because they were younger and they just had finished their college careers and went into pros and they were representing historical franchises and the success that was involved and all the places and parts and places. I got to say that. Plus the TV revenue, which was because I was watching this. This is going to sound foreign to you unless you grew up around that time. Imagine watching tape delay finals. Imagine you go here to stay up to like 10, 11 o'clock. That's that. It, yeah. So that's the reason. That's a good one too. But they're not tough to figure out for me. Peyton, Peyton, Peyton got a better regular season. Aaron's got the MVPs and stuff, but Peyton was more scarier. Aaron was more gifted, but Peyton Manning was more scarier. If I'm being honest, Aaron Rodgers had more talent, but Peyton Manning was more scarier with his cadence. Yeah, that is true. I can't teach you English unless you're gonna pay me because I'm not gonna teach you. Depends on what you need. Um, it's part of life. Hate to say it. You live long enough, you see greats, transition, and it's never easy, but it's one of those things where you just have to remember the greatness of them and pray. D. David Joseph, man, you're a man of my heart with that one, y'all. That's what we used to do, bro. Sometimes get tennis balls. I remember we were so high tech. We had aluminum bats because the wood bats would break. Had aluminum bat. We thought we was the jump. Hit that ball. Um, we did. We go into the fields. We sure did. We played till dusk to dark. Dark. Hit that ball outfield. We were into it. It meant something back then. If you were a certain age, it did. I don't think you see that no more. All right, Lou Sauce, happy birthday. It's a shout out. Thank you for coming through, Derek Curry. Where your brother coming from? All right. Peyton Manning, yeah, yeah. I mean, you can make that case for him. I mean, if that's the best you saw. Yeah. All right, shout out. What part of Canada, east or the west? Because they two different parts. I've been on both sides. You got the beautiful land on the west side, and you got the water on the east. So, but props to Lou Sauce. Okay. Right to Ontario, right on. Yeah, it was something to hear that sound. Oh, and we used to play all the time. with the gloves, the fresh smelling gloves, making our own bases too. That was the thing too. Sometimes we'd have like the telephone pole as a base. Um, you know, I mean, it was a lot of fun. That was a whole different era and time. We were playing. Sometimes when we play in the field, we might use a softball. Very rarely a baseball. We definitely use tennis balls because that really meant that you could hit that ball. That's not why I got him over. That's not why I got him over Aaron Rodgers because his ring with the Broncos, he was just kind of like a Weekend at Bernie's. You ever seen Weekend at Bernie's? That's how he was. You know, why I got him is because he was more clutch getting his team. Aaron Rodgers had a far easier road than him. I'll have to think about that, Ted. I have to get back to you on that one. That's a video. Yeah, they stopped being taken care of. People, and again, the kids didn't get pushed out there. Then there came an era where basketball took over and football always stayed. So, you know, so different era. But what's so funny? What's so funny? I gotta find out what Ted's laughing at because I don't know. But my argument about yeah. So yeah, ESPN. I think Mad Dog, because I'm going to check it out when I'm here in an hour. Mad Dog and Stephen A. Smith going at it about the Lakers or the Celtics. The better, who you got? Take your bias out of it. Who runs organizations better? I'm not even talking about just the rings. I'm talking about how they run the organizations. Who do you think is better structured? And if nobody wants to go first, Drew Peacock. Oh, better organized? Oh yeah, okay, we can burn. Yeah, that's what he liked though. Because was a statue against Carolina in that Super Bowl. My buddy, who was a diehard Peyton Manning fan, came to the crib wearing a Peyton Manning jersey, and he was scared every time Peyton was been under a huddle. He's like, just hand the ball off. He was scared because Von Miller won that Super Bowl, and Peyton looked, he was dusty. Mm-hmm. That's what happened to me. If I had to pick who's better organized, I'm taking the Celtics. I like the Lakers better, but I'm taking the Celtics organized. Are you kidding me? Brad Stevens has been he knows what he's doing. They've been to two finals in the last 4 years and won a ring, and they were the Eastern Conference Finals. Jenny Buss, Rambus is up there holding all up on LeBron. I don't see nobody putting their L arms on Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. I don't see all cozy, touchy feely. Now Udoka shouldn't have been fired, but they did replace him with a brother, and they've been a consistent team. The Robert Williams Marcus Smart part, I was kind of surprised, but they don't do stupid stuff. They don't get people that that's true, but there's also truth that I grew up a certain way. My grandma was like, get your butt outside and get some sun too. No, no, he right because in the summertime, when I was growing up, summer vacation, they couldn't wait to get your butt out. Not because of so much alone time, but also because you was just sitting up there watching TV all day and eating and just not doing nothing. Yeah, but there's also that alternative that you would just being a bugaboo with them. They wanted you to get out. 'Cause I sit up in the house, I'll be watching Good Times and just chilling, and they be like, "Boy, get outside," you know. Cause sometimes you just get daydreaming. So anyway, but I'm just saying, I don't think he's under. I think he good. I don't think no one sits around and question him. The only thing he ever did that I question is when he took that job with the Colts, you know. Oh, yeah, you gotta have that sunshine. That's true. But anyway, that's all I gotta say. I think the Celtics are better ran organization because you know good and well that LeBron and AD, when they face any kind of setback or problems, fire the coach, get rid of the ball boy, all everybody's problems. And I do give Tatum and Brown props for hanging in there. I do. Oh yeah, everybody done flipped on Luka Doncic too. I don't really even talk about Jeff Saturday. That's almost like a bad dream that didn't happen because I like him, but he was in over his head though. Yeah, for real. Jaleel was cool. The Celtics are gonna be fine. I tell you now, we talk about this every night. They're gonna come out the East unless somebody makes a drastic move, i.e., Philadelphia, Milwaukee, New York, Miami, Orlando. You know, everybody's playing right now for second place in the East. And it's not because I'm so in love with the Celtics, but they are the better team. Well, he still got well, yeah. Mhm. That's true. That's true. That's how I remember too. My grandma was, cause you don't do nothing, eat ice cream, just do that. I don't know. The Pacers need to trim the fat. So Pete Siakam just got re-signed. Halliburton's gonna be there. They got some decisions to make with, do they need some other parts? Do the parts they got work? You know, because I think they're a two-tone team with too much of this. He ain't gonna do that. He's a good Negro. Who are you talking about, Drew Peacock? Yeah, and they got out coached. And the embarrassment of Rick Carlisle's coaching is worse than what I can really fathom about the team. They should have beaten Boston in two of them games. So Tatum ain't gonna do that to you. That's why he won't go to Lakers. I think I know Drew Peacock, but I'm not thinking right now. And I don't get asked about Drew Peacock. But I don't know. I think Rick Carlisle's bad coaching hurt him. That first game they should have won. I don't know. They should have beat him in game three. I don't know. They were playing him good without him. They choked. I think Rick Carlisle, he must have got bought and paid off to take one for the team. I don't know about that. Let's do a roll call. Who's better, Rick Carlisle, Jerry Stone? Ask around. I don't know. Cause that coaching job in the Eastern Conference Finals, I don't know. I he lost me. He lost me. That was embarrassing. They should have gone 6 games with Boston, maybe 7. And he got out coached. I mean, he did some stupid stuff. He sat there on the podium. I'm like, you won and you've had success. And you know why and you know what makes him look even worse? Have you seen the Ray John Rondo video? Rondo was calling him out. I said, that ain't a good look. You come out here and you know, you sitting up here and yeah, it's just bad. That was brutal coaching. I'm taking Lenny Pimp to the back all day. Come on, Lenny won. Lenny was camping in the finals back to back. He got the Atlanta Hawks to the second round. He showed he could coach multiple places and ways. I mean, that's Lenny. Rick Alderman had more talent, but he didn't get it done. Maybe if he had of, maybe a Sacramento. If he had taken Sacramento to the finals, that may have been a situation. But you know, so that's why. Sorry, you get mad at me because I don't really do a lot of Canadian. My Canadian is a little limited. I ain't gonna lie. I'm taking Jerry Sloan because he had more structure. Alderman got to the Portland, we got to the finals. I know. I remember. But I remember Scottie Pippen calling that Portland team dumb. You never heard anyone say Jerry Sloan team was dumb. Yes. So when you ask these names, I got stories for some of these stories. He called the 92 Blazers team dumb. And how did they I don't know, he had none. He had none. Come on, Ted. He had none. He had none. That man was so respected. When I was coming up along and I talked to the older cats about baseball, he was like gold. I mean, he was. I'll put it to you like this: if you really want the uncut black side, Willie Mays was talked about by black folks like Babe Ruth was by white folks, and some white folks did too. But Mays was in his own universe when they weren't slurping Mickey Mantle. Oh yeah, I bet Barry Bonds were too. Yeah, but Sloan had a system that worked. Yeah, Rick Carlisle should be ashamed of himself though. Yeah, Mays left a lasting impact. Sloan had a style. He brought it from his coach, his playing days to yeah. But the way Rick Carlisle looked in that series was brutal. That was embarrassing. I mean, it's one thing to lose, but it's another when you just choke. You just don't even keep your team in the best position. Okay, okay. Next time if you come through, I'll make sure of it. I'll have to look at that video with Keith Hernandez. But you know, no, he's respected. He's respected. That's what I keep saying. If he started from day one and took the mindset, he'd be MVP. So I got a story for you. Well, on the West Coast when I went to Canada, it wasn't bad. Actually, I went on first day of winter one year, and it was nice. It was breezy and chilly, but it was nice. Went down by the sea part. Wasn't bad. Yeah, if you go around January, February, it can be crazy. But I went in December. It actually wasn't bad. Went on a Halloween one time. Wasn't bad. He was. He could defend. If Kobe don't say he was jived, then you got to take that he was legit. Bowen played his defense and hit those 2 or 3 3-pointers, and he looked like he was a Nation of Islam with the beanie pies and the bow ties. Tear your behind up. Oh yeah, you get hit with snow. Yeah. The only problem was Tony Allen couldn't score nothing. That's the only problem. Wow, that's real. I like Tony Allen too, but he just didn't score. Yeah, when he stand at the corner. That's how he looked too, cause he be on TV and he be like, "Yes," and he be all dignified and talk all soft and mellow, and then he be stepping on your toe. He was all astute. This is a good one, but I gotta give the edge to Bochy because he did it with multiple teams. I mean, he just, that's the only reason. Because Torrey didn't do much with the Dodgers. Okay. He did all right, but he didn't do as much. Bochy is, he's got the magic wand. In in that era of NBA, yes. Today you don't really have a Bruce Bowen type because the teams play zone, so you really don't have that. Marcus Smart tried that. How did that work? And as far as Robert Ory types, well, everybody is, I mean, you got, you really don't have it anymore. Again, well, if he had a one with the Dodgers, I would say yeah. But Bochy, I mean, his success speaks for itself. He goes their ways. He's like a genie out of a bottle. Yeah, but the answer to the question is because with the way things are structured now, you don't get a guy that can guard the perimeters like that. That's a different era. When Boston won their chip, they used to take you off the line. They don't do that no more. Now they swat you in they'll get you coming to the lane, but they're not necessarily defending on the perimeter. Not like that. I know Gifford had that block on Jason Tim the other night, but that's not the norm. Top five catches. Okay. Um, Roy Campanella is going to be one of them. Johnny Bench. I want to say Pudge Rodriguez is in there. And this is kind of thinking. No, it's a tough question because that's three of them right there. Um, Piazza might get some consideration. Hmm. Yeah, Piazza was a great hitter. A great hitter. Cal Ripken or A-Rod? Oh, A-Rod got him beat. A-Rod got A-Rod because the simple fact I don't think he was as dependent on somebody as much. Cal Ripken was great, but if Andy Murray had stuck around, his career would have been even better. Well, I'm gonna tell you something, DJ. The Astros were the most dominant team the past decade until this year. Multiple World Series appearances, and they won a couple rings. Um, the thing is that Dusty Baker's gone. They kind of fell off. So they had a great run though. I think it's just their time might be up. They were a dominant team. I don't really pay a lot of attention till we get to, as I tell Ted. Ted knows we get to September, October. Can't really get into it. That ain't the real Don Cheadle, so don't pay that no mind. Don Cheadle wouldn't be coming up in here. I got rid of that. Would be something that was Don Cheadle. I do like him as an actor, but we ain't that cool. I think that. I hate to say it, David. Yeah, it'll probably be something like that. Probably, probably, because they'll make it some kind of excuse. Think they always do when you're dead or you old. They'll make some. They'll waste 30, 40 years and then say, "Oh, we will put them in." It's embarrassing that they don't. It's embarrassing. That's two of the biggest names in the freaking sport. I don't know another sport that can get away with that that had two big names that they have ostracized. I don't. So, did Clint Hurdle win a ring before I answer this question? Because I'm not remembering if he won one or not. If Clint Hurdle didn't win a ring, I'm taking Buck Showalter. Easily, he should be in. That's why I can't take that seriously. That's why baseball fell off with a lot of people. Because this so called hierarchy crap they do is a joke. Like they got some standards. They ain't got no standards. You wanna know why baseball ain't got no standards? Because they just now including the Negro League records. They should have been did that. When you're discriminating for as history long as you've been around, you don't have any credibility. That's comical. He was a good clutch player. But see, Scott Rowland getting in, that's like James Posey getting in NBA Hall of Fame. Okay? Think about it. Well, I just asked if Clint Hurdle didn't have a ring, then I'm taking Showalter. But Buck Showalter is like the Marty Schottenheimer of baseball managers. He can never get the job done. He puts teams and puts them there. I bet you cash money if the Mets. Yeah, see how when they don't put the obvious people in, then you got a whole lot of what we call the really good, very good crew. So yeah, then your criteria becomes watered down. Then you can't come at me with, oh, so and so the hall. You can't be all artsy. You can't be me all artsy. I don't mind if you got credibility with credibility, but you come at me bringing some cats who are not great. This ain't the really good or the very good Hall of Fame. This supposed to be the greats. Well, they doing that because they trying to act like they care about black folks. They know they're way behind the eight ball. It doesn't change. The problem is that there's really not that kind of care with black folk like that. I'm not as strong enough. There's the do, but it's not as strong. They got a lot of work to do. But I tell you all the time, they don't have no enough black managers, they don't have no black GMs, don't have no owners. So, oh, they all racist. The difference is that baseball they have no salary cap, so they got no reason to be so cheap to price stuff. Problem that they run into is that the product that they're putting out, there's people that love it, but it ain't loved. The NFL is loved. The NBA is loved. MLB ain't loved like that. They all racist though. I know. I'm a fan of the sports. I'm not a fan of the structure of them. And believe me, if I wasn't, I'll tell you like this. I'll keep it 100. I'm a fan. That's why I don't quit watching it because it's great conversation and there are people that are intriguing that have done it. However, if I was come along now, I don't even know if I even mess with it. Well, yeah, people gonna look at you and not understand. They think because they look at it like a field plantation. They say we got all these black players out here. Who's owning them? Who owns the TV merchandise time? Who runs stuff? See, and the games, the commissioner, all that. They won't see it because they're not used to it. That's the problem. Now, I would love to see more black ownership, and then what would it be like if they had that? Well, good to see you too, Trash. Some trolls are here tonight. Yes and no. Scare them unless they competing for championships. Scare them if they're competing for championships. Not scaring them if they're out there necessarily playing. They'll tolerate them to play. They'll tolerate them to move around and do things. But when you start getting into the Patrick Mahomes success level, and even Lamar Jackson's success with the league MVPs, that's where they get, because that's notoriety that they got to acknowledge. You winning things when you winning big important prizes. That's scary. Playing, not so much. Because they'll eventually sprinkle them around almost everywhere. But when they're winning, this is why I stand behind what I said, that Mahomes is far more polarizing because he's in rare company. He is. They don't want to say it because it's all, I don't know. Caitlin Clark ain't no. Come on now, you got to win something. What's that chick that used to be messing with Enrique Iglesias? Anna Kournikova, the tennis player who could only, but she was attractive, but she couldn't play tennis to save her life. But she was polar. That was considered polarizing with Serena when Venus was tearing butts up. This is what Caitlin Clark is like, in a way. But when you are dominating a particular sport and you're winning, and you're in a position where no one else who looks like you has done it. No, he passes Brady with a three-peat. He's already tied with Montana or surpassed him. He passes Brady with a three-peat. I'm calling it. Then there won't be no dispute about him being the GOAT. There won't be no dispute. I got him already with Montana. I've seen enough. He's top two. I've seen enough. I'm not gonna get into that because everybody needs some kind of luck or form. He was poised. He was a better quarterback as he got older. And he was a smart quarterback. Can't say he did all that because actually he was more holding his end of the bargain than Belichick, if you read between the lines. But if I say he cheated, then I can say some other teams cheated too. I can say the Steelers cheated for Bradshaw. I can bring up all kinds of film. Can't say he cheated because he didn't have any superior advantage with his mobility. Now you could say the rules were bent, and you could say that the powers that be, but I can't say that he definitively cheated per se. Because even that game against the Colts with the flake ball and all that crap, and how did Andrew Luck's career turn out after that? He never saw another AFC Championship game again. Should have he started throwing interceptions like he had a flat ball? Tell you that much. Brady carved him up, but I don't know. We're not even into the middle of summer, so I don't know how you can ask me that. We haven't even got the summer yet. Did a lot of walking. I do some business today. Oh, my pet peeves are, she's just your typical white girl, valley girl. You know, I don't know who you are, so before you ask all these questions, you work for TMZ or something? Because you better clarify, verify. I don't make a big deal about Belichick's dating and Kraft's dating because old rich white guys do that all the time, midlife crisis and all that stuff. But it's not news to me. It's not news to me with that. But the Tucker rule did start the thing. But they had it as a legit rule. So people can hate it or not. Brady still could have won the game though, but anyway. Um Kraft's massage parlor was swept underneath the carpet. Kraft's carries a lot of weight. He just got out coached in the finals. That should pretty much be a pet peeve right there. He never figured out how to utilize stop the onslaught in the paint. Jalen Brown and Bazingas set the tone game one. They had a line dance to the hole. So he got to get some interior, but he got to get a legit third option. And he's got to free the rock off of the reason why I call Luca a white Harding is because he hangs onto the rock too long. What happened? Boston zoned in on him. Kyrie didn't shoot that too highly. Luca got to get off, but Luca sat out there and camped out with that rock. The others weren't getting involved. So what happened was they became a two-man team against six. So in my videos, as I pointed out, Boston was a buffet and Dallas was a microwave meal. Now, how quick a microwave meal comes out, but if it gets cold, it ain't much to it. That's what they became. Meanwhile, Boston was a buffet. They could keep going and going and going. So they kept because White had a big game. Drew Holiday had a big game. Think about it. Tatum didn't even get off to game three. Brown was doing all this. Porzingis was doing. They had multiple people. Al Horford had a moment. Pritchard was hitting some big shots before buzzers. They beat you 6-7 deep. Dallas got you at most two. That's the difference. Team concept. People weren't on the same page with Dallas, and that's what kicked their butt. They can rectify that problem, but Kyrie's got it in his head up against Boston. It's mental. You have to figure it out. And Luca has to be focused from the get. If he ain't focused from the get, he one of these Johnny late bloomer type of dudes who wakes up midway in the season. I'm like, yo, you better wake up early. What's happening? What's happening? But I do think they can come back though. I think they got good chemistry, but they just got, they got all work by a better team. That's what it came down to. It's kind of like Jalen Brown basically told Kyrie, "You always say, yeah, you played great, but it wasn't enough." Said vintage. So you got to use that as bulletin board material. You better come back with a vengeance. And I expect them to come back ready next year. But they went against a better team. And the parity in the NBA is real. Because you're seeing how certain teams there are very few teams that got an answer for most of what you put out there. So, all right now. Well, you a comedian. And do what? Oh, yeah. He get to work with the plumbers and the electricians. That's true. Because that's what they got on that team. They got electricians, plumbers, pizza men, delivery. They got Uber drivers, Lyft drivers. They got everything but basketball players. You ain't lying. He's overrated. Yeah, the weed, man. Oh, JJ Reddick. JJ Ridiculous. That's what I call him. I can't believe they let him hijack the league. I can't believe it. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. And they got people over there just waiting to see what he gonna do next. No, he ain't going to no Detroit. They too black for him, and his behind will get exposed halfway in the season if he made it that long. Cause I told you Rambus got some video or something on him. No, well, Jerry Weston fell out though. You know, and Jerry West was the guy who wore his feelings on his sleeve. But it's a lot of politics involved. I don't know what that means, Pam H. How is it a wake up call? How is it a wake up call? See, to me, I'm gonna say this, and don't take this the wrong way, but I'm gonna say it so just because people think we always agree on stuff. That's a pretty arrogant remark, and I'm gonna tell you why. You got a 40-year-old guy almost as your best player, and then you got another guy who you claim is your best player, big, and supposed to have two of the best 15 players, and you can't beat Denver, and you got 3 rounds deep, and you keep adding these pieces and parts, and you seemingly was in your own orbit. The ref was giving you calls, so and so. So how does this make this a wake up call when all along you've had the phone on line one? I mean, you got to make that make sense to me because that has nothing to do with y'all. This is not like back in the day where the Celtics and Lakers are joined at the hip. I don't like this notion that somehow the truth is Golden State's your wake up call, not the Celtics. You're watching Steph Curry, you're watching your peers. That's your wake up call, not no Boston. Okay, if we're gonna play that role, that's kind of like asking me about the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. Do you really hold that as a stake? I mean, no, no. Mm. I'm gonna say this the best way I can say this in English. You are your own worst enemy if you're a Laker fan. Got nothing to do with Boston. You got to get the right pieces. I was mad, but I'm gonna tell you why I was mad. That was mad because we choked 3-0 lead. Mad because it was the Red Sox. And mad because I had to hear all these people coming out rooting for that. Yes. But this is different because the Lakers had won since Boston had last won. They won in 2020. LeBron James has been controlling the narrative. It couldn't have been the word about seeing Boston. No one was really paying Boston no mind if you want to be honest. Because they were almost a quiet 64 win. No one took them too seriously. You're the ones who have to get it together with who's going to be your leader and what you do with your coach. Dysfunction. That's not no wake up call. You're one. You're one win from being a playing tournament for going home early. You're not on the same level as Boston. You have no continuity. So that's not a wake up call. You're up acting like, well, we could have won last year against Denver, but you got swept 4-0. And they beat you 4-1 this year, gentleman sweep. So how's a wake up call when you're not even a contender? When you become a contender, then you can punch back. Until then, you're a pretender with this situation. That's all I'm gonna say about that. They need to decide if they want their coach to be their coach. That's what they need to do. Jalen Hurt is a very good quarterback, almost great. They've got the pieces in place. They got to play better defense. The way they went out last year was embarrassing. That last game, that was embarrassing. They up there making uh, Baker Mayfield probably got his contract behind. They just embarrassed themselves. So when this is gonna be very telling because if they come out and drop an egg, he's gone. So they need to get it together mentally. But the problem is, it's not even about them trusting their head coach. They're trusting their future. They need to stop acting like LeBron's gonna play more than 2 years. They're done with him in 2 years if he makes it that long. If he don't get hurt, and AD too. They got to think about long. I think they really did want Hurley. I really do, because they have to develop the next. And will these two be part of it? LeBron ain't built but for like maybe 2 years tops. AD, I don't know if he's gonna make it post LeBron because he's not a leader. And LA can really tear your behind up. Now that's a video worthy. That's typical Jason Whitlock. Cause if Steve Harvey comes out, he gotta come out and say something. All right, what's up? He does that all the time. I told you these tappers, these shufflers, they just wait till someone else comes along, then they feel like, oh, you trying to shuffle me. That's not a surprise. That's not a surprise at all. I was just waiting on it to come through. Thank you. I know he been mighty quiet lately. He has no shame. He has no shame. You can. He has no shame, though. Y'all up here still thinking that Whitlock actually cares and that he's gonna be some deep thespian Macbeth Shakespearean when he just talks this shuffle talk. That's what he do. That happens all the time. Happens all the time. Come on, JT. Come on now. I think you asked me this and I already went through this already. Come on now. Who's considered the big fundamental? Who was dominant? You got to come up with better questions than that one. Tim Duncan in a blowout and twice on Sunday. Because aside from being a better pure scorer, it's nothing else. Jimmy who? Yeah, Duncan a blowout. Well, of course he does because Caitlin Clark is the money. That's what they're trying to say. They're trying to say Caitlin Clark is okay. But thank you. I do take that as a compliment. I've been told that a few times. Funny story today. I was listening to the Crusaders. Joe Sample had my favorite keyboard player. So good to see you, New Age Barbarian and Gordo. What's happening? There's a lot more faces coming through. That's all good. Glad people got comments. We talk about topics. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, JT. No, don't take it the wrong way, but when you ask me about Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, I mean Kevin Durant, that's a no brainer. Um, that's a no brainer for me. I hold Tim Duncan in high regard. So, ooh, wow, ooh, that's mighty. That hurts just even saying that. But anyway, yeah, the Lakers to be inspired by Boston got to get a coach that they think is gonna be there. That's never good. That's never good. That's never good. And good news that happens today, because if that happened 25, 30 years ago, that's a lifetime. You're done. And it's not going to be easy to come back. Need to get out the league. Yeah, because he took him a while before he came back the same. They need to basically blow that team up. Draft. What could you draft? I'm sorry. Can I use Rick Pitino? Can I quote Rick Pitino? Wes Unseld ain't coming through that door. Elvin Hayes ain't coming through that door. Bernard King's not coming through that door. They don't have nothing they could do. I mean, Kuzman and Jordan Poole, that's all you need to say. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Derrick Rose injury could have been prevented. That was a different type, but yeah, the Wizards suck though. I mean, asking me what they need everybody's draft pick, and they still may not win 30 games. I know they struggled last year, and they suck. And they had Jordan Poole, and he sucked so bad he got booed. 'Cause he had a game where he had an Easter egg for the whole game, and them in Detroit were pitiful. So they need everything. They need to unload everybody. They need to get a whole new squad in. Treat them like bowling pins. Okay, I'm gonna be on for about 4 more minutes. There's some interesting characters here tonight. Yeah, I think he knocked his senses out. And you go play in Washington and you can stat pad and he can't even do that right. I mean, he just looks lost. No. But on Philly off the bench would be nice. Second team. And quiet as it's kept. But Memphis and Ja would be nice. Because Jordan Poole just ain't fundamental. His mental mechanics ain't there. That's why. Tim Legler. You know, he was wrong about the Mavericks. Legs tends to be more in depth, though. I like Jalen a lot, and I like them both a lot. But Legler gets a little bit more, it's certain perspectives that he takes with certain angles that I think that he's a bit more effective. But I like Jalen a lot, though. It's close. Because Jalen hits the points about the players, and Legler gets the team. He hits that. That's their angles. Legler did pick Dallas to go to the finals, though, for a get up, though. Okay. Well, Tim Legler wasn't trying to cook Skip. He just was dropping facts. He's more matter of fact. There's a different approach to when he articulates. He doesn't, Legler is one of those cats that he has a way of just fundamentally saying stuff without trying to, because he's not playing games. Skip's playing games. Skip's the used car salesman. That's why he's planning to play off of Paul Pierce. Pierce is his last hope to keep that wax show alive. But Legler is, he's cool. I remember when he played too. He played when you were a 3-point specialist. Different era. But he was accurate though. He's cool. I like Legger. I like Jalen too. It's just different ways that they approach the visuals of it. Jalen concentrates on like the team to like a certain place. Legger looks at the he kind of like fine tunes like where the team can go. And he's one of the few people on ESPN who's not afraid to say you suck. You know, but he does his homework. Okay. I don't keep asking you. You know, come on now. It's a great question, but it's been asked a ton. Comes down to what you prefer as far as preference. I think you could do. I think Wilt was like the Babe Ruth or Barry Bonds of NBA. He's his own universe, so it's almost unfair to put him with anybody. However, Kareem's dominance in that hook shot, which is legendary, set such a high precedent. So that's how I'm going to answer that. So I'm going to give Kareem a slight edge, but it's close. It's close. It's close. But they both two of the greatest ever. And you can't, and it's not a wrong answer with them two. Huge fan of them both. You can make the case that the two goats. You can make a debate. I mean, they have a right. So, anyway, I'm gonna call it a night now. Appreciate everybody coming through. There's some interesting trolls came through. I saw a whole lot of activity I hadn't been used to seeing. A lot of deletions, but glad everybody came through. Appreciate all the likes. My likes went up quite a bit tonight. So thank you for support as always. Appreciate you tenfold. And stay safe, stay blessed, have a great time, great night, and everything. Um, maybe tomorrow night or Friday. Definitely not gonna be here on Saturday. So maybe one or two more. We'll see. See how thing goes. Because it depends on what I gotta do. But if I get back at a reasonable time, I'll definitely swing through. All depends though. But anyway, appreciate everyone that came through. Thanks for the likes, the questions. Try to answer every question I could. Some of them are gonna be more geared towards a video because then I can really psychologically stretch out. Not saying that I'm not ignoring questions. It's just that there's certain ones I gotta take the time to really digest, compartmentalize, and then want to give it a balance because I want to make sure it has a balance. Especially if there's certain questions. Because Ted asked a really good one about the Magic Bird. Appreciate that one and the McGuire and Sosa. And that's a great question because I got to put that in, there's two different ways of approaching it. But anytime you got good questions, you feel free, you want it for video, let me know. So peace and the best. Have a great night. Stay safe, stay blessed. Till next time we catch you. Peace. I'm out.